Thank you, Chair. My name is Ranja Sengupta, and I speak on behalf of both the Third World Network and the CSO FFD mechanism. We strongly support both paragraphs 43K and 43L on trade-related environment measures, including unilateral trade measures. On 43L, we urge the UN members to show higher ambition and call for the immediate termination of unilateral economic, financial, or trade measures that are inconsistent with the principles of international law and the Charter of the UN, or those that create adverse impact on sustainable development of the target country. Further, any measure premised on sustainability must be based on the principle of common but differentiated responsibility, multilaterally agreed, transparent, democratic, and balance the three dimensions of sustainable development. We also strongly support paragraph 43G. Policy space for resilience building, structural transformation, industrialization, food security, and sustainable development is critical for developing countries and LDCs whose development gap from developed countries continue to be massive. Therefore, this paragraph must be reserved exclusively for them, as it was in the elements paper. In addition, the required policy space cannot be ensured within the current trade rules and commitments. If it was, then perhaps this paragraph would not even be needed. It is essential that trade rules and commitments are reshaped to ensure policy space for pursuing such goals. We fully support the spirit of paragraph 43H on ISDS reform, but call for much higher ambition. Given the adverse impact of the ISDS on the policy space of both Global North and Global South countries, we think FFD4 offers the opportune moment to reach a multilateral agreement for the coordinated and permanent cessation of ISDS provisions in trade and investment agreements. We very much support para 43J on the permanent solution on public stockholding, as it is long overdue, and this will also ensure food security and nutrition and protect livelihoods of farmers, including smallholders and women farmers across the Global South. On 44B, we have some concerns given the significant digital divide between developed and developing countries and the need for policy space regarding domestic policies related to digital industrialization, data, digital taxation in developing countries and LDCs. Therefore, they should retain full policy space for domestic policy making in a manner that does not undermine but strengthens domestic providers and suppliers of these services in these countries. The full section on LDCs is very pertinent and we fully support it. And in particular, we agree with the LDCs group position in the WTO on a longer transition period for graduating LDCs compared to the measly 3 years that is being currently offered in the WTO. Their own assessment of their capacity to deal with the loss of preferences must be respected and the period should be self-determined. On regional trade integration under para 43F, we suggest it be restricted to South-South agreements only in order to promote inclusive growth and sustainable development within developing countries and in their LDC partner countries. And also there's the need to ensure that South-South trade agreements are not undermined by bilateral North-South trade agreements. FFD4 must aim for a trade framework that is democratic and works for development. It must also work for marginalized communities, women, workers, patients, indigenous groups, and in a genuine and effective manner by addressing real issues and not using these issues for commercial gains. This also means that for an effective outcome on the trade section, the process of negotiations must be fair, transparent, and participatory, and CSOs which are intrinsically connected to such communities on the ground must be allowed to fully contribute their expertise.